My guest today is one of the guys who brings TrackMania forward with creating more life in the community so you can play events. But there have also been some in the news as of lately and the last year. First off with ESL leaving and then renaming themselves to TrackMania Stars. We had the competition premierships just before the New Year's, and now we have the upcoming RPG Cup this weekend. But before all of that, Runaway, can you introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, sure. First off, hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
Yeah, I'm perfect. So, my in-game nick is Runaway. I'm 23 and I'm currently a student of dental medicine here in Belgrade. I've got into TrackMania when I was pretty young, like in middle school. So that would be like, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe less. And I'm in the competitive tech scene for the last couple of years, 5 or 6 maybe. And I started having a feeling, like, so to say, towards it, and then I wanted to contribute my time to make it better, since it was at a pretty bad spot, to be honest, a couple of years ago.
Okay, so you said that you are a part of the competitive scene for now 5 to 6 years, but was it
Yeah.
as a player or did you straight get into it as some sort of organizers like myself?
Well, I've joined back in the days that was VXA team. That was I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago, let's say, and that like got my juice going for the tech tournaments and stuff. After that, I was in IGN and the New Era, so but basically like a player. And then, well, there was like how to call it? If you know, there was a bit of players living in the Team New Era. So I thought myself I could try something else, something like more productive, and that's when I saw the ESL like requiring admins or needing more admins, and that's how I got the idea.
Yeah,
That
yes.
was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I can't remember.
But before that, had you organized anything? Because, like you said, you are a student in dentist, so it's not like you are a student in organizations or any
Yeah.
stuff like that. How did you have done something like this before, or was this the first experience with actually being part of some sort of organization?
This was like the first experience, let's say. I mean, we'd had like intern scrims in the teams, but nothing like even comparing to this.
And when you applied, did you actually think that, okay, I'm going to be part of ESL? Because ESL is, in fact, actually one of the brands known outside of TrackMania as well.
Well, I was gonna stick only with TrackMania. I got the position of head admin there, head tech admin, or global stuff. I don't know how they call it. But I thought I'd give it a go, and it's going well so far, I believe.
And for people who are just joining TrackMania now, they probably wonder why we talk about ESL. But I believe it was last year and first part of last year when we saw that news about ESL leaving. Can you take us through why did actually ESL leave TrackMania?
Yeah, sure. It was, I think it was June or July. I can't remember quite well, after the Dirt, or was it Full Speed Cup? But yeah, basically we lost the support of ESL towards having like prize pools or prize money and something like that, and there was basically, without it you can't run a bigger competition or try to evolve or something like that.
Huh.
My memory is not that good. I mean, because when I joined, there was like this problem, not a drama, but more like a problem. You remember those Go 4 Cups back in the days?
Yeah.
And the winner got the like paid spot to, was it like GA or Gaming Winterfest? I can't remember. And the ESL like admins, like the top ones, basically they were mad because the players there had to bring their own PCs, and they were like disappointed, and at that point I believe we lost the support of ESL.
So it all comes down to you. Let's say if people who won those tickets could just go to the event and then get the PCs and all the stuff needed there, then ESL will stick around, or?
I mean, if the event provided PCs, they would have maybe like continued our support with well, like providing the support, but that's like in the past, right?
But was there any sort of discussion with, let's say, event organizers like Gamers Assembly or Nadeo to try to fix this? Or was ESL like, okay, we see this is a problem, but we don't want to try to fix it, we just leave?
No, it wasn't ESL that left. It's that we left ESL because the support wasn't there. That we like really needed to move forward. But the talking part, I'm not sure because I wasn't around at that time, so I can't really speak unless like just make assumptions, which I
Yeah,
really
okay.
don't want.
Yeah, let's not
Yeah.
let's not create any rumors here. But
Yeah, exactly.
but let's say that.
That's
Go ahead.
I mean, that's basically what I understood when I joined because, like, they explained it to me beforehand that we cannot have that prize pools, and that it was one of the problems.
Huh.
So, yeah, after the CPS ended, we like came to a conclusion that we should do something else apart from it.
And that the first part or the first half of 2018 was, for some people, a dark period. We have expert leaving and then ESL leaving. Some said that this was the official end of the competitions in TrackMania and the esports side of it. But then you guys rebranded yourself and got into a new name. But what is TrackMania Stars, and why do you see more benefits being under that name instead of just sticking around with ESL?
Yeah, so the entire team, let's say, left TSL and rebranded ourselves to TrackMania Stars, as you said. And we try to continue on what we build upon. So basically, the CPS will continue. The RPG Nightcups, led by Chocolate, will continue as well. We have some plans for Dirt and full speed tournaments as well. We have the national sections, only Hungary for now. And we have the Winter Mix Cup coming up like in March, I believe, in the beginning of March, something like that. So we basically try continue what we try to continue our legacy. Let's say it like that.
If I understand correctly, the main part about leaving ESL was that you didn't get any money. But is there some plan on getting sponsors for the Mania Star or TrackMania Stars, and then eventually getting prize pools? How do you plan on doing this?
We had the support of Nadeo for this year's CPS. I mean, like the last edition for the 20th edition. Going forward, we of course have a tendency to attract some sponsors. We are in negotiations at the moment. Our head admin Rusk is also willing to contribute with some help. I mean, there are plenty of ideas on the table. We just have to pick the right one.
So for people who are skeptical that the TrackMania is sort of going downwards, you will say, don't worry, there are going to be people who play the events and do well in events will be rewarded with some prize money.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that this year is the year that TrackMania will go up. We have the Grand League, we have the TMM right now happening. We'll have plenty of new cups, all with prize pools. So it's a better looking.
Yeah, talking about the Grand League, we have our guy from the community, Softy B there. I remember my first interaction with him. It was when he hosted the Access Team Cup. He said he wanted to go against ESL because ESL took so long and it didn't have that sort of prize pool. But from your side of it, how did you see the entrance of that Access Team Cup back in the days, and that they essentially just took your spot, let's say?
Yeah, it wasn't like taking our spot. It was more like I don't want to offend anyone. It was like a temporary replacement, let's say, because at that point, 18 and 19 editions of CPS were a bit not really very well supported from ESL, and we knew that, and we knew that we do have some troubles later on if we stick with ESL because of that. That's one of the reasons that we wanted to evolve with our tournaments that we make and have like proper rewards for our players that like try really hard to win it. And I mean, I fully support what he's doing right now. I think it's a tremendous amount of work, and I like really want him to go forward with it. It will like help TrackMania even more if possible.
Yeah.
So I think that his Access Team Cup that he introduced was a nice idea, and then the Pro League, obviously, that was a big success, really big success, and then like Nadio coming in and like wanting to help out. I think yeah, it's a couple of good projects that he's working.
You are, in my eyes, the CPS is the most prestigious team cup. But there are, if I have to look at it, it's looking like there is a shift in TrackMania where the solo events is just getting more and more popular, and you have the most or the best players rather not playing team events. Of course, team expert leaving, and now everybody's in sort of solo organizations. What is your view on it? How are the team events looking against solo events, and are the team events more or less just for, let's say, the fun players and the people who are up and coming?
Well, I believe it's really hard to attract, like, let's say, bigger teams, because you need to have like a very good sponsor behind you to be able to invest themselves in the tournament and to be able to provide like well, basically a prize pool that would attract big players and big teams. That's, I think, why one of the reasons that like solo cups are more popular these days, because like you can only one player can focus on what he's doing, and not you don't have to worry about the entire team and the entirety of the players, and if they're training and if they're like partying, drinking and stuff. Like, they don't care about the matches, you know. Yeah, I think that's the shifting point, but I believe that it will all even out in the couple of next coming up years. Yeah, and I believe that, no, I don't know if you know, but there is this new initiative that made by organizers willing to like move forward with our team cups and solo cups. So I think, yeah, it will even out in the coming year.
Yeah, and surely for people who are, let's say, that team events are more boring to watch, they got, let's say, they got proven wrong in the last edition of the CPS where you had the grand final going to a decider map. But if you go before the grand final, how did you see the CPS playing out from organizations or organizers' perspective? Was it going smooth, or did you see some improvements?
Well, this CPS was quite important to us because it was on a new platform, under a new name, new organization. So we took a lot of effort to make it go smooth. We switched to the tournament website, which basically helps and creates like groups and playoffs and spreadsheets and matches and everything. Just in case, I always had a backup Excel spreadsheet because I didn't know if it's gonna go well or not. So I just like took data of everything. But yeah, I think it went smoothly. To be honest, we had some changes in the ruling sections. We had some, of course, drama, but that's like normal. We also decided to well, we already changed our rule book for the 21st edition with some changes that we didn't like that we introduced this season. But it went smoothly, to be honest. There were no major issues. I believe players were confident and happy and satisfied with the way tournament went. So from organizers' perspective, I believe it went pretty well.
For people who might know about this, don't know about these changes, can you inform what changes are planning to be implemented to the
Yeah, sure.
21st edition?
So the gas driver rule will be removed completely. We will continue. So the Premier League and the Open League 1, I believe, and 2 won't have qualifiers anymore. So you can like move towards the upper leagues only by relegation. Relegation meaning that the last team from, let's say, Premier League and the first team from Open League will have a match against each other to like secure, defend, or obtain a spot in the upper league, let's say. And the loser will stay or move down a league. The Premier League will still be filled from the rankings. That's a new like trend, let's say, that we tried this year, and we quite like it because there would be no. Since we're using the specific, let's say, format of qualifications, there could be some potential setbacks for the big teams. So we decided to make it fair and use the rankings since they're updated regularly, and we thought we'd put them to use because the people behind it put a really big amount of work to make them going. Other than that, so qualifications will stay for Open League 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, depending on how many teams sign up. Then we might extend for one more week. We will see how the format will stay. Of course, the playoffs will stay the same. The first and second team would move forward from Premier League. We might introduce a playoffs for the Open Leagues. We're not sure about that yet. Just to keep them having matches, having fun and stuff like that. That's still on the table of ideas. Then what else is there? Yeah, pretty much that's it. So the major thing is that the guest driver rule will be removed. So we won't have any troubles about that.
So it's 100% removed?
Yes, it's already removed.
Huh. So you cannot have let's say Massa wants to play for M&M Gaming. If that's the case, he cannot do that.
No, he can do.
He can do it?
Yeah. You can basically make teams as you like.
Okay, yeah, then I understand. Because there's a trend in TrackMania, at least the top 6 players are not playing for any teams, more or less.
Yeah, but so the rule was that up to 2 guest drivers could be in the team, and that they couldn't drive the 1v1 submatch. For those who don't know, the CPS format is 4 submatches, 1v1, 2v2, and double 2 referees, 3 referees submatches. The 1v1 and 2v2 is worth 1 point, the 3 referees are worth 2 points, and in case of a tie, let's say, or a draw, unless it's in the group stage, then it will go to a decider map, which is the 1v1 map played in 3v3 format. So that was the guest driver rule, which won't be in effect anymore, and they can put as many guest drivers as they like and drive as many submatches as they like.
And what is the main reason for it? Is it simply because we see the shift that more top players are playing solo organizations?
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly that, and that mixed teams can be created, which of course they will start from the qualifications, where the regular teams will just have it's positive side. They won't have to go through the qualifications if they qualified for some Open League or Premier League season before.
Okay, I had Axel Alex on and I asked him about it, and I think I brought it up in the eSport collaboration group as well. Why isn't the team just named, let's say, a new era 1, a new era 2, a new era 3? For me, it makes it easier at least to watch, but now it's like Q black, Q pink, Q yellow, and so on.
I don't know, to be honest. I believe, from my perspective, it feels nicer, let's say, rather than just blank 1, 2, 3, and 4. The other point that I can see maybe is that while in the match you can distinguish different colors in one team. So if there's I don't know, team 1 and 2, you can't really change the what's that called, the tag, the color of the tag, rather than just having, I don't know, blue and pink. Let's say. Maybe that's one of the reasons, but I don't really have no specific reasoning behind it.
I guess it's just me being weird here, because it makes it easier for me to pick which matches I should watch.
I mean, it is easier, to be honest, but that's just team's preference, which I don't want to influence.
But let's go from the sort of organizer's perspective and to the actual competition, because if you want a successful competition, you also need some close matches. How did you see the grand final playing out, and they're going to decider in the grand final?
Best possible grand final, if you ask me. You always want to playoff matches go to a decider map, because it makes it tense and interesting. But it wasn't really only the decider map; it was the all sub matches that were rather close. Yeah, it was from my point of view a really nice match.
But also, you like you said, you want to watch the match and just focus on the competition. But for me, at least, the storyline after it was more or less people focusing about what was said in chat during the round rather than what was driven. As an admin, did you have any sort of point where you wanted to stick or write something in the chat like, let's keep it clean, stop the banter, or so?
If it gets out of hand, of course. I mean, if they start like insulting, swearing, all those things that can hurt some opponent's feelings and stuff like that. But this was like it was innocent banter, to be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, I believe from my perspective that it was innocent. I don't believe that there were any hard feelings behind the banter or any reasoning to insult anyone. I hope so, to be honest. If it was the case, then I mean, why would you do that?
Yeah, yeah. I also got that. Like watching the match, I just they are just having fun with each other. But after match, some people came to me and said, "Yeah, that was not nice. That is not the way you should be." But how should you, as an admin, know that people are taking offensive of it without them writing something like that?
You can't really know that until they open the support ticket and like talk with the captains, see the points of view from the teams, and the players. Then you can't really know from like just watching the chat.
And one last thing for me, as a spectator and someone who actually wrote for articles for both of those teams, why did you actually have the grand final played the day before Christmas Eve? Me, I ended up staying up all night writing some articles during the Christmas Eve.
There was, I mean, the teams had all the right to reschedule the match to a day before or after. We don't really influence on that. It was just the default time that we set out for the entire tournament, and we just wanted it to finish before the New Year's. That was like our main goal. So basically, we didn't have as much influence as the teams could have agreed on.
Yeah, and also a positive thing there, I could have an excuse so I don't have to sort of decorate the Christmas tree and...
Yeah, of course. I don't remember, to be honest, when I decorated the Christmas tree the last time.
But yeah, now that you have some time to think about the season overall and the first CPS as TrackMania Stars, how is the overall experience and what do you sort of think about the next and upcoming CPS?
We have some plans already. Which I won't tell. But it was a good season overall, to be honest. It was our annual 20th season. We've been going at it for quite some time. The platform we made is quite nice. There was also, well, it's an idea still, but quite a big project, to be honest, to make a platform sort of like tournament, but only for TrackMania teams. So we don't have to register over and over again. But that's a rather big project that won't be finished, or like it's in the making. Like dropping ideas, making a concept. So it will take a while, I believe. But other than that, we have tournament, which is an amazing site. Makes our job as an organizer a lot easier. They provide us with like all the formats, all the stuff we need, the structures for the tournament. The TrackMania Star website we have is really a well-made website. Let's say it makes our jobs as admins really at ease, and it feels a lot better than ESL, to be honest. Website, which is a hell of a mess. You said yourself you need to write articles. We have to write like recaps as well. We had to use at TSL the HTTP code. We didn't have any like those options for bold, italic, and stuff. We had to type it in manually, which is to be honest a pain in the thing.
That's for sure.
Yeah, now it just makes our life easier. We have the forums as well for various discussions, so it's going well so far.
And you are one of the most active organizations in TrackMania. It's not like you just have the CPS already this week and you have the RPG Nightcup coming up. I know that Chocolate making is the main guy for it, but
Yeah.
for people, what can they expect from this Nightcup? And for those who don't even know what Nightcup is, can you take us what is special
sure.
about this event?
So RPG Nightcup is a tournament played on an RPG map. So basically, you need to. It's a special type of TrackMania, let's say, where you need to control your car to the fullest. And basically, there is one map practiced for a week, and then at the end of the week, there is a knockout, let's say, stage where you first play a time attack, and then you play a regular playoff match. Well, not a playoff; it's more of a knockout. The last player gets eliminated, or two. So it's going at it also for quite some time now, and we tend to make it even bigger.
What do you mean by making bigger prize pool, or
Yeah, sure, why not? Like,
why not?
make it. I mean, we want to grow as much as possible.
Yeah.
And provide rewards for our winning players that put a lot of effort. I mean, practicing an RPG map for a week is a lot of effort.
Yeah.
RPG maps in themselves can be like up from 5 to 15 minutes long, so you need to keep a constant focus for 3 hours on the small ledges. There, Riol and Spam are also playing the trial maps. For those who didn't see what those are, check them out. You will see what I'm talking about.
Do you think that RPG is maybe the most underrated style? Everybody knows, of course, tech and then probably dirt and full speed, and RPG might be forgotten as, at least as a competitive style.
I think it is, to be honest. I think it takes a lot more effort than tech full speed or dirt, because you need to have a feeling for the car that you're driving, however that stupid may sound. But I think it is underrated as well, and should be up with those three styles in the running.
Yeah, just imagine an offline event where they have to play RPG track in front of 2,000 viewers or so.
Yeah, I mean, I'd tilt.
Yeah. But now that you are sort of free from any obligations and, let's say, on bigger organizations, you probably have more freedom. Are there any new events or new ideas that you want to implement and test out?
There was, like at the beginning of our conversation, I mentioned the Go for. There is idea among tech admins to bring something like that back, like a monthly cup. I don't know if it's gonna happen, because it would require more admins, which we lack with in every like part of our organization. We quite lack admins because it's a new organization, as we mentioned before. There might be, I mean, there is a full speed tournament in the planning. We will see when will it happen, and if it's gonna happen at all this year. I mean, it's still a discussion. We don't have any plans to announce any tournaments for now, apart from which are the ones that are happening regularly on the regular basis at the moment.
The biggest event, of course, you sort of briefly talked about it already, the Grand League. Do you sort of draw any inspiration from it? And let's say that this event has impact on you, and that, okay, now that they have moved away from tech, maybe we should also try to move away from tech? Or would you still stick with the styles that you have already?
No, we will stick to our own and to what we do best. We don't want to experiment, let's say, with different styles. And I mean, there is also always a possibility. You never have to say never. It's not a good thing to do. But we will just, for now at least, stick to our thing and what we do best.
And if you have to give your 2 cents on it, what is your feeling about the TrackMania Grand League? It has an impact on the TrackMania overall and the community. Do you like the format? Do you see any problems with it? What is your overall feeling about it?
It's an interesting format, to say the least. But I'm not I don't know. I'm not quite fond of it. It can get boring pretty quickly driving in laps, and I don't think that it. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm more of a neutral spectator, and at least until the beta season is finished. It's an interesting concept, to say the least. But yeah, I don't want to make any rush assumptions about it.
Yeah, that's a good mentality to have. Some people are probably too quick to judge it, and because it's
Yeah,
something
I
new.
mean, I want to see it pan out, and then I can make my, and then I can put my 2 cents.
And if we, like I said, this event has an impact overall on the game. You said that this might be one of the best years for TrackMania. What is the feeling you have going into 2019 and the future for TrackMania?
I mean, we have the Grand League going out right now. It's gonna be, I believe, if it keeps on going or goes back to Pro League, you can't make any mistakes about those two. They're like really, really spot on tournaments and supported by Nadeo. I believe that we are getting more support by Nadeo in 2019. I believe that more and more tournaments will appear with more attractive prize pools, and yeah, we are attracting sponsors slowly but surely. It's the game that's on the rise. Uh, we will see how the lens will go this year. If they prove to be a success, then we know that we are on the right path.
Yeah, talking about lands, do you see any problems with the Grand League actually taking place the same weekend as Game of the Winterfest? Like you have a collision between the two biggest events almost.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's when you keep like plan or a tournament a secret, it's always gonna pan out to be a problem. I since it's a beta season, I don't want to judge, as I said.
Yeah.
But going forward, I believe that we need to have a battle schedule, at least planning and not keeping tournaments.
Yeah.
At least from the organizer's perspective, so that we can, like adjust the dates of our tournament.
The last question for me is the question of the week I have on Twitter and on YouTube. I don't know if you have seen it, but the question is pretty simple. Should the maps be 100% unknown and unseen by the public, or should we start allowing streamers to actually have building sessions and say that, okay, I'm building this map for the CPS, but I'm not sure that it will be picked, but at least I'm still trying to send it in?
We prefer to have them a secret. We always had before, because it's more fair towards the other players. There are some guys who might not watch that particular stream, or they had to like leave for an hour or so. In the meantime, the streamer could have built a map. So one of the requirements that we pose and we enforce is that no players outside the map builder and the admins of the tournament should be able to see the map before it's announced.
Is there something you are willing to try out, or do you want it to be? My feeling about it is at least that having it secret might look more professional, because then, like you said, everybody has the same amount of training hours.
Yeah, we don't want to try it, at least from TMStars perspective.
I know that you are having some schedules and have to run, but is there some final words or some topic that you want to mention to the people of TrackMania?
Well, keep a positive attitude.
Plus.
Yeah, plus. Don't judge anything, and don't judge the book by its covers, as it said. And keep the head up, keep your head up, keep your engines running. It's a good year for Track.
Yeah, and it's been a good podcast, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was a nice chat we had.
Always, and I'm not sure this is not the last one. At least if TrackMania Stars keep being active.
Of course. We will keep active for as long as possible.
That's a good spirit. And that's it for this podcast. Bye-bye, guys.